more to come together. The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice. African pride, root of all nations, boy. Tribes the Lions are Rastafari. Lion of the tribe, the lioness I tied. And push on the front time. Read you. This is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned into the Lions Voice Network. What the Lion fought for do? Parch them. Roast and parch them. I will never stop, hail the Most High. And I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed Lord, this is Kushai representing for the Lions Club. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari. The time has come for Lions to tell our own story. Yes, I will listen to Lions' voice, and I grasp that feeling from the eyes of God. Yeah, we need you, Rastafari. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Babylon born when Rasta come together. Can you feel it? Rastafari. People, Babylon done when I and I come together. Look how we live together, I am. Look how we work together, I am. Whoa, Babylon done when Rasta come together. Yeah, like Rastafari, man is getting this money in place. You're my really about to sit for the last battle. I. Personally, Alliance, oh, 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 your road, universally unfold, be told, oh, 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 oh. Blessed Lord, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voice to be heard. This is the Lion's Voice. Rastafari. Yes, this is to be I. The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the Lion's Voice. Love, respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Rastafari. Rise, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari. Yeah, David Trent of Steel Voice, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out there. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. I'm Nana Pareka. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice. Lion voice, and the massive people first. Lion voice, quickly lion as them hypnotize. Lion voice, we lion culture sacrifice. Lion voice, not to shoot the people them they have. Lion voice. Well, great is the Almighty, and great to be praised in the city of Haile Selassie the First, mountains holiness. Yeah, from Cape to Cairo, Timbuktu to the Nile, no? Okay. Finish. You have to okay. We're gonna be going on real lots of your soon. We're gonna be going live very soon. Just getting some commercials. That's the commercial. I finished. Then we're going to start the interview, but this is for my platform. So welcome, welcome, welcome if you are here for the interview tonight with our brethren, Prince Kwasi from the Lion Voice Network. That's what we get from. That's what we are right now. Lion Voice Network. Together, we film so get ready. The commercial is over. Let's be going to commercial. Once the commercial is over, then we're gonna start the interview. So we're just going through the commercial phase, but the interview is about to be starting very soon. And I just want to make sure I'm comfortable. Maybe ready. I already done my push-ups, got to get the push-up out the way. Got to let my mean out, my plane out. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I the First. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chasmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading of, aka the Pan African Happy Man. Creative history attorney, author. I'm an artist. I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of a special edition of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the Lions are telling our own story. Tonight marks the first day of our African Liberation Month programming. We are celebrating May as African Liberation Month. Of course, we have African Victory Day on May 5th, also known as Patriots Day in Ethiopia, celebrating the triumphant re-entry of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie into Addis Ababa, May 5th, 1941. We are going to have a special episode featuring Bongo Jerry Small. I know a lot of the item love Bongo Jerry. We're going to go deep into the history of Ethiopia, the invasion, what was happening in Europe. You know, the only way Bongo Jerry know how to deal with it. So put that on your calendar. And tonight we are kicking it off with a blockbuster movie. One of our Lion Pride on Patreon, good brethren, who I've known for many years. We're going to be welcoming him. And trust me, when you hear the story, the journey, if you're not inspired, you're not alive. And I tell you the truth, coming out of civil war, overcoming the odds as a bodybuilder, football star, turn into a family man, content creator extraordinaire. And he's going to share with us his platform, what he's doing, how he came to Rastafari, the whole thing. We're going to go into it tonight. And we're going to ask everyone to go to his YouTube channels. Yeah, the same way that we requested the item spend capital with I, we are also requesting that you spend with the budget. When you hear his story, you'll see why. And that is the philosophy we have here at Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media. It's ecosystem. Everyone have their ecosystem. If we all have ecosystems, if we're all feeding these ecosystems, then we can never drop. The circle, it's a circulatory system. Everybody is feeding each other. I'm going to be appearing on the Brethren platform as well. So we're going to be, again, we're building the architecture, Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media across multiple platforms. It's a beautiful thing. And big up all of the item who are here from early. You never wait until the thing global and millions of people running the item there from early. So big up. see some of the family in the comments. Um, all of the ones them who are here. As I said, African Liberation. All on. But if it's outside of that realm, we can't say it's Rastafari, and we have to be clear beyond question. So stay tuned. We're gonna be reasoning with different artists coming up to and going into this debate as to what real Rastafari, what is the mission. We want to be very clear right now because time is dread and we have to come together. And within the reasoning, we can agree to disagree to, family. Remember, we are experts at that on this platform. Agree to disagree. Unity is the accepted goal. We're not cloning people over here. But as I told a brethren I spoke with today, I need to see source material. I need to see, when you come with a philosophy, what's the root? That is how I'm on brain as an attorney. That's how I think. I want to see where this and then I can weigh and balance it myself. That's how I came into the movement. I never just follow. I had to do research and be sure for myself. And that is what we're asking from the global family, is just to take that journey with us as we continue. So Big up. So you that being said, you might see pop-up episodes like this during the month. And big up to everyone who comes on board. All most of the family will watch it on the replay, but we are active and we are getting ready again to highlight Mama Africa and her sons and daughters. So stay with us. Big episode tonight. Blockbuster film. Lion Pride. Big up Frontline Books. Big up Ramia King Design. When you see a man sipping eye water, you know that it's a Rastafari business. Same way. Big up Akashic Records, one of our Patreon. We're getting ready to add Akashic Records as one of our sponsors as well. So if you have a product or service and you want to come on board before we hit 70,000 subscriber mark, we just hit 1 million views for the life of the channel, 4 years, 1 million views. So that's our first million. Hopefully, have many more million milestones. We want multiple season, but we give thanks 1 million views reach. We couldn't do it without the item, you know what I mean? So it's a major achievement. That being said, get your ital snacks, get your meditation ready because we have a guest, powerful guest. I met this brethren in Washington, D.C. Met the brethren Queen, you know what I mean? Faithful used to come to the iDoor study group, whole heap of reasoning, whole heap of energy, straight out of Liberia. Put your hands together for Palm J every day. Royal greetings, King.
Yes, I. Greetings to the I. Yes, I. Greetings to everyone from north, south, east, west, all of I and I brethren and sisters all over the globe. I come in the name of Palm J, Princeton Oluwale Martin Jr. Oluwale means the great one has come. The king has come. Yes.
Give thanks, give thanks. Well, there is a member of our Lion Pride on Patreon. So you there know the whole drill already. We don't have to ask. Step into the Lion Talk time machine. The time has come.
Yes, sir.
This is a blockbuster. I'm seated up here. I'm just smiling because I know what's coming. But share with our global family the epic journey, start from the birth, growing up in Liberia. Give us the whole vibration, King.
Yes, I give thanks. So originally, Ayman was born in Liberia, 1982. At that time, there was a whole lot of things going on in the world. Even oil crisis at the time was still a big problem. But I was born as Princeton Oluwale Martin Jr. The Oluwale, like I was saying earlier, is a Nigerian Yoruba language that basically means, like I was saying, the great one has come, God has come, the king has come. Martin is actually the name that was given to me from my ancestors before I even came to this planet, to this earth. Martyr was the name before it came to Martin, but that's a long, very serious story, but we can go on at another time. But that martyr, which was what my ancestors were, because I come from a lineage of warriors that fought against Europeans along the coastline in Liberia. So if most of the ones aren't aware of Liberia, where it's located, it's on the western hemisphere of the Atlantic Ocean. And if you bring it up right now, you will see there's an area on the map in Liberia in Monrovia called West Point. And that was the area that I was born in. It's a peninsula. And on that peninsula is a little zinc fence community. So if any one of the IDM can pull it up, they will see it. That is a town where a lot of folks from the rest of the world looking from the outside, looking in, would look at it as the ghetto, the slums, and all these negative, stereotypes. But Iman, myself, I look at it as my birth, my place. This is where I grew up. That's all I know. There, I learned so much. So I'm going to get into that. But Liberia, West Point, is where I'm originally from. Uh, I was born in a hospital called Firestone. That's where I was originally conceived in Firestone, Monrovia, Liberia. So I come from a very long, long journey, like Rasquasi was saying. The journey I've come started in Liberia, 1982. From 1982 up to 1991, I had to deal with what you call one of the worst civil war that mankind eyes could lay upon was the Liberian Civil War. It started, yeah, that war was a very devastational war. It caused a lot of people to be displaced from their homes. It claimed a lot of lives. Over 500,000 lives were claimed. Over 250,000 lives were, you know, relocated, and I was one of those people. I ended up here in America. So in 1991, I ended up here. But before I get to 1991, let me take you during the time when I was in Liberia during the war and a little bit before the war, because I was born in a different country. So I'm coming here. People talk about the double veil. W.E.B. Du Bois, in his book called The Souls of the Black Folks, talks about the double veil. I think I got more than one veil. I don't just have a double. I have so many. I can see how animals and interact with them a little bit better than the average person. So I don't have just one or two veil. I have many veils. So living in Liberia before the war, it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was it was paradise. Just think about living on the beach. This is where I lived, on the beach. And every morning, I literally was right, like I said, I lived on the ocean. So I would go, leave my community, go right on the beach. I'll go. We had a community with what we call the Fanti, and these are the people from the Akan people there in Ghana. So I have a lineage through Ghana, but the Fanti people at the time was living in West Point, and they were known as fishermen. My generation, my people, they come from a line of fishermen as well. So I'm a very serious fisherman. So I used to go in the ocean with the canoe, get in there with the Fanti men, get in the canoe, go in the middle of the ocean. And when you go in the ocean, we have the nets. And like I said, if those of you who are now watching the Lion, Voice Network, go online, Google it, you'll see it. Fishermen in Liberia is a very big industry. So we would take the net, throw it down, cast a fish, bring it up, bring it back, either sell it to a neighbor, sell it to the marketplace, or what have you. But that was the lifestyle. What kind of fish were you getting mostly? I know, like in that area, I know snapper, that kind of stuff. Like raw caught seafood. Majority. It wasn't just fish. It was majority raw caught food, ocean food. Like any food that you will find, one will find in the Atlantic Ocean. That's where we will go and get that. So it was a variety, a very diverse mix of ocean seafood. If you're a seafood person, West Point, Monrovia, Liberia is a place to go. That we have the best seafood options there. Raw, uh, straight from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Were you swimming in the ocean? Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That was one of the things as a youth that I was great at. I'm still a great swimmer. That's actually one of my lifestyle coping strategies, exercise regimen is swimming. I used to be right there in the ocean all the time swimming against the waves. So I know how to swim against the wave and with the waves. And Rasquasi, I want to tell you a quick West African story folklore, but it's a serious story that it's not just in West Africa. If you go all to the ancient civilization all over the world, these people have similar stories about this particular entity. So I'm going to talk to you about Mami Wata. Okay, so Mami Wata is a entity that I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with Mami Wata? And I'm sure probably somewhere in Jamaica. No, okay, you don't know the story. We're students. Yes, all right. So yeah, Mami Wata is basically what you would call people call it mermaid, but it's an actual entity that most people, oh, it's not real, it's not. You don't, nobody knows that except the people who knows. And I'm going to tell you, I happen to be one of those people who was fortunate enough to know. I know it exists. I know it's real. And it's basically a sea human being who lives in the ocean. And they look, now remember, I know people are like, what? Yes, it's very serious. If you know life, if you know biology, if you know chemistry, if you just know life in general, the ocean, the sun, there's a level where the sun can actually go to and stop. It can't go any further. All right. I want people to understand that. After that level, not even man can go down there. The pressure alone will not, yes, they can't stand it. So the type of life that have not been recorded on Earth, I'm not going to sit here and say I know every single one, but I do know there's other life forms out there. And I know Mami Wata is one of them because I had experience as a young boy, not only seeing it in a dream of mine, but interacting with this. If I didn't know what it was, why, how would it happen? So yes, I know it's real, but like I said, if they I want to go to saw one when you were swimming or you were on a boat. I was basically on a swim routine. I what I like to do what I did when I was younger. I would get up real early. I'm an early riser. I am very early. I get up these days, even up to this day. I get up at 4:30. Actually, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm out the house by 4:30. In the gym by 5 o'clock. I'm very regimented. I just maybe that's my only little ism or tism, whatever they call it, because I'm very serious with that. So I've been always like that. So early in the morning when no light. I love the dark. By the way, the dark is where you actually grow the most, if anyone knows anything about the esoteric world. The darkness, people try to act like it's not real, but it's actually where you were born. A lot of things are born out of the darkness. Yes. So don't be afraid of knowing who you are. Don't be afraid of your shadow. So anyway, I get up very early. I go out and I swim where no one is around, no light is around. And 1 second, I was waking up. Next second, it was gone. That's how it happened, literally. And all I can remember, what's a glimpse you got? Yes, and all I can remember through my time remembering is I'm still trying to put this together, and I think I found the answer. That's what I say. I think I found it, and I'm going to tell you as we go forward. If you remind me about the Mami Wata story, because that same Mami Wata story back in those days, yes, has come to this current 2026 in currently with my son, and I will talk to you about that. Okay. Yes, okay. Sir. So in terms of swimming, did you ever see anything like a shark, a dolphin, anything like that swimming? No, not like our area because it's very warm. I actually did not know cold water until I got to California. Okay. California water, the Pacific Ocean, is very cold. So, if you think about animals, biology, a lot of them like to be in very cold water. So, when it comes to Liberia, because it's a little warmer, we right on the equator, literally. I was actually a lot darker than you see me now under these lights, which I love. I love it. But being away from the sun, you get a little lighter. So um, yeah, serious thing, yeah, serious thing. Before we continue, I wanted to go to your YouTube page. Absolutely, yeah. Let's go. I wanted to share the video that you did. Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. They should definitely see that. Because I think. Oh, okay, there it is. This is a good. Yeah. Okay. Palm J Everyday channel. I have several different channels, but that was my one of my earlier channels. Oh, no, but this one I like. I like the editing. Okay. So we're gonna play. Let me know if you hear the sound. Yeah. Go ahead. Oh yeah, I hear the sound. Competitive status of bodybuilding to the world of a competitive multi-sports athlete to sports and fitness modeling, the entertainment industry. My journey has been about pushing limits and inspiring others. There's more to me than just muscle and fitness. As a father, husband, and an immigrant escaping one of West Africa's brutal civil wars in Liberia, I speak on the real life struggles and triumphs balancing it all. All day, every day. Yeah. Channel, we dive into fitness, wellness, football reactions, and the power of resilience. Yes. Plus, let's not forget about the conversations that matters the most, like political issues, immigration, spiritual, and personal growth. This is where strength meets story. And I want you to join me on this journey. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you won't miss future content from me. All day, every day. Yeah. Yes, I give thanks for giving the world a nice preview of that. Give thanks. Yes. So make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. And he has other channels. We're gonna go through all of them and why he made all of these channels. Yes, I give. But how old were you when the Liberian Civil War? And for those of us who don't know, give us a history lesson. Yes. As to what that war was about. Oh, and how old when the war started. Oh man, I love that question. It's a beautiful question. Well, I was literally my son's age. My son literally just turned 8 years old, but I was around 8 to 9, 8 and a half, 9 years old in that area, and that's the age I was, 8, 9 years old. In 1991, is actually when I left, but it started a little earlier. I would say 1980s, and that was actually before I was born. The war had actually it culminated. Let's just say it like that. It erupted at a certain point. It erupted in 1980, but it really started a lot earlier. And the history of Liberia is a very intricate, delicate history in terms of America, because uh, that is how the actual name even came about. Liberia, if you break it down, is basically land of liberty. And that's literally the meaning of that. And that name was created specifically when the ACS, the American Colonization Society, decided that. And for those of us who aren't aware of that society, is just go ahead, just go online right now, look it up. But it was a society during, Lincoln's era when he was president here in America. They were trying to find a way to dispossess black folks that they just freed, and try to find a way for them to leave without being a threat. So the ACS, you got to read about it, but it's about relocating black folks, so people will call African American black folks that looks like me, and Rasquasi, and basically relocate them to a land over there in West Africa. But at the time, they had no idea what land it was going to be. They just knew, okay, let's just traverse over here. Let's see how it was. They landed in an area called it was now Sierra Leone. But at one point the area wasn't nice and arid, and it wasn't arable for them to farm and do things, and it had a lot of other illnesses and diseases. So they had to move away from that area. So when they went away, they went a little closer to an area where it's called Liberia now, or that's what they named. But that area where it was called, uh, that area where it was named, was basically the Green Coast or the Pepper Coast. So that area where you call Ghana, that's the area where they had the empires at the earlier stage. So Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, that whole area. Liberia became Liberia in 1847, is basically where they decided, okay, this is what we're gonna call it, and this is, we are gonna be free away from America. We black folks who are now going to be here. It was after a war, obviously, because they didn't just get there without no confrontation. Now, remember, I told you I'm from warriors. Some of the warriors that clashes were my ancestors. I'm sure, with some of my other ancestors that came from here, back there. So they clashed because number one, they was not expecting anyone, and to their surprise, those who were coming expected to have this land and have access to it, and without any recourse, and they would do whatever it took So the warriors did fight. They had their spears because I'm into defending myself and defending my rights. And we're gonna get more into that as well. But they fought, but you can't take a gun to a spear to a gunfight, right? It doesn't make any sense. So the cannons at the time basically took away any resistance that they could even try. And if I'm a smart chief or king, I'm gonna the safety of my people is the most important thing. So what am I going to do? Slaughter, allow all of them to get slaughtered? No. So they found ways to surrender, and doing that surrender, when they uh, took over as far as creating the policies and the rules of the land of the area, instead of including the natives, what we call at the time. There was a lot of earlier people, but I'm from two ethnic groups. One is Basa. They call it the Basa people. And also from the Crew people. My crew is my mother. My mother's from the Crew people. So if any of you on the line don't want to look it up, look up Crew. KRU, but that's a I can get into that later, but that's the name we were called, and then we'll call that for a specific reason. But our original name, from what I learned from my research, is Klao. The Klao people, but the crew is what they was known as, and they were called. So it's KRU if you want to look it up. And Bassa, Bassa or Bassah. That was my father's side. So my father was from the Bassa. They call it tribe back in Liberia. But me, after that, obviously, I've done some research even further. I'm not kind of, but I have a resistance with in my own family, along with my people. When I hear the word tribe, I think it's a word I don't like to personally use because of a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons is because it denotes the person's lineage, generations, and nations. Because the only time you hear that word is when you're trying to belittle somebody or belittle a people, just like people here use with the black native people here. So anyway, but yes, did I answer your question, West Posse? Because I and I can go. You know that I can go.
We love it. We're getting a history lesson because I'm sure a lot of people are not familiar with the history of Liberia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And oftentimes it's said that Liberia and Ethiopia were the only independent countries. We push back on that somewhat because of the same vibe, the American colonization society that survived up until the 1960s. We know Firestone Company.
Yes, there you go. Yes, in Canton, Ohio. Yeah.
They were the ones who were fighting Marcus Garvey because Garvey wanted to go to Liberia.
Yes. Oh yeah, we can talk about that too, man.
Yes, this is the early multinationals. Colonialism was not done by nation states.
Talk about it.
It was instituted by companies.
That's right, corporations.
Corporations, multinational. These nations would form corporations, and
Yes.
they would be the ones dealing with the colonial project. So.
Yes.
Very important that we get the history from a Liberian, but continue.
Yes, absolutely. Still,
Because we want people to know what the eye was escaping, why
absolutely,
murdering started.
absolutely.
Because
Yes, I.
these conflicts are funded by outside sources.
Absolutely, I. Can the eye still hear? I am I still coming through?
Yes, I.
Okay, clearly. Okay.
Yes, I clearly.
Yes, good. Give thanks. So, if the eye can remind, I was where I was leaving was out it was the confrontation, right?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So yes, after the confrontation and the laws were created, basically to rule the land. Like I said, there was resistance. However, you can bring a sword or spear to a gun show. We all know that. So the laws, when it got created in the favors of the colonizer or the colonizing, because a lot of people say, hey, Liberia was never colonized. And me as a Liberian, again, I love my country, I love my people, but I also went to school and also educated myself. Yes. And I know that I read a lot, I read a lot, and I always considered, when I think about colonization, I said, what is really colonization, right? It's same thing like revolution. When you think about revolution, what is really revolution? What is really colonization, right? So when you look at colonization, is the absolute brainwashing, right? Whitewashing, right? Of Eurocentricizing, however you want to put it, to erasing of who you are, who I am as an African, as a black man. That's what it's for. Whether it shows up looking like me, or whether it shows up looking like my lighter skinned brothers and sisters. Yes. You know what I mean? So it can come anyway, because as Ras Kwasi and I talked in the past, I'm really with is, I know there's different mansions, but the mansion, I know we're gonna get into that, but I say this because one of the mansions I'm closely following a lot and interacting with, and I have a lot of sentiments that resonates with me, is the Nyabingi. Because the reason why I say the Nyabingi for me is because they don't care what you look like. They don't care if you look like them. They care for your heart. They care for your mind. They care for your soul. Now, if you have that, you welcome. Because just because you look like me and you treating me like crap, I'm supposed to accept it because you look like me? I'm sorry. No, kick rocks. I'm gonna allow someone else who looks like me to treat me like crap, and then you think I'm gonna let you do the same thing? No, no. We have to treat each other with respect, with love, with dignity. And unfortunately, some folks just they have a hard problem with, they have a hard time with that reality. But I come from the motherland. I come from the land, the source that actually give life to all of creation. I come from a land where the electric magnetic force field is like none other. Serious Mama Africa. So for the Bassa and the Cool people, yes, how far do they trace their lineage? Is there oral tradition that they were? Yes, I love that question. Yes. Okay. Let me go into that. I love that question because I like to do research. And one of the research that I did when I was looking into specifically the Bassa people, because I'm gonna profess that I am a grandson of a beautiful angel right now. She's no longer with us, however. But my grandmother, Aletha James Kitka, I love her itinually, but she gave me the foundation of what I know now as Rastafari. But she originally was a Baptist uh, uh, lady. Lady went to church, and see, I don't know all the terminology, but that's what she did. I read enough, but I read what I needed to read, and I formulated my own way of living and processing. But she will always tell me about the Baptist church. So that was the foundation. Okay, gifts of heaven, if I can correctly put it, gifts of heaven Baptist Church in Liberia. That was the church actually that got my father here. That's actually got me here to this country. So if you think about it, it all connects. So anyway, um, my foundation was Christianity. I am not going to stray away from that. That was my foundation. And it was through the Baptist church. So I knew about the Baptist church through my grandmother. And once I was aware of the Baptist church, I started learning and reading because I'm a curious brain. I just consider myself a brain. I'm just curious. I want to learn. I want to know about cultures. That's actually what landed me to knowing and interacting with Las Kwasi, because my brain is on an automatic pilot. I got to keep learning. I got to keep improving. I got to keep doing great. I got to keep being. I can't stop just because I was a coveted football player, a young athlete. That's great, but I got to keep going. Just because I won the Mr. California light heavyweight championship, and I was in magazines, and that was great. Okay, that's good. I got to keep going just because I did well in school and got straight A's and made the dean's list in college. And okay, it's over. What's next? See, that's the kind of person I am. I'm always challenging myself.
Mhm. So, um, I wanted to get to the oral tradition of the Bassa and
The
the Kru
Bassa
people
people.
of Liberia.
Yes, absolutely. So I say all that to say that the aura, the Bassa and the crew people have a lot of, it's like brothers and sisters, like cousins, like family, and they actually are connected to the Hebrew people,
Okay.
because when I gave my son the name Konsu, everybody asked me, "What's that? How? What's that name? You're Liberian. How you gonna call your son Konsu? Konsu?" I said, "Listen, if you know anything about the Bassa people, you will know they were the Hebrew, what they call the Hebrew Israelites, right? And they were the people that were further out over there in the area they used to call Egypt, but I personally like to call it Kemet. And basically Kemet, it just means black. It doesn't mean anything ominous or dangerous or scary. It just means black, a land of black folks that lived there, that knew how to show you about life, about everything. That was that world. So that world, but that world is also a younger world to an older world, which we can go and get into later, Rastafari, you know.
Mhm.
But we're going to get into that later. But Bassa people actually connects to Hebrew Israelites. They connected at a very strong point. So they have traveled, because if you listen and you study their culture, everything is embedded through the Bible. They even have the Bible, their Bible written in the Bassa script and the
Mhm.
crew script. So regardless if it was some form of, finagling with the manipulation of European colonization, they still had a script. So they had form of education that even the Europeans themselves wasn't aware of.
Okay. So, are they close to the Mende people or the Mandinka or those tribes in Sierra Leone?
Well, when I look at Liberia and all the different breakdown of all of us, yeah, I like to get into the metaphysics and I like to get into the real connection to human beings, and also this line of demarcation that European have created for
Yes.
us. We can no longer keep trying to keep ourselves in that box. I'm one of those people. I've never been that. I just haven't,
Yes.
and maybe that's why.
You're not a tribalist. You're not a
No,
tribalist.
no, I can't be. I can't
Yes.
be. I listen to my ancestors. My ancestors said, pay attention to the heart, pay attention to the mind. What is the mind saying? What is
Mhm.
the heart saying? The vibration comes with all that. The aura, you can feel it. That's why I see I have stories that are. I sometimes when I tell it, I can't even believe it happened. But I'm connected to a force that I can't even explain sometimes that I experience because I spend a lot of alone time. For those folks who don't like being alone or I got to always have somebody by my side, grow up, grow up. Especially if you came in by yourself. I can see if you're a twin. If you are a twin, you don't know, only the twin knows. Shout out to the twins. But if you came in here alone by yourself, you better learn to be by yourself. It's okay to want people and go amongst people, but you got to know your energy, your aura feel well. And you got to know it so well when you go around other folks, that energy, if it's like a Wi-Fi, let me get you a little closer to your Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi, people, brethren, sisters. Why? How you think Wi-Fi came about? How you think picture came about? Camera, all those things. We are all of this technology that we are playing with ourselves. It's us.
Yes. As a child during the war, did you see anyone get killed
Oh,
personally
oh
in the
my
war?
goodness, man. Let me tell you something. That's a reality that I would not wish on the worst of my enemy. Let me tell you a story, and I have many, but I'll give you one. And I told you I wrote that book, but it ain't gonna be released until it's ready, and it will
Okay.
be released for the world. But I'll tell you a story, and it comes vividly because when it happened, I was when I was 8. 8 years old, probably 8 years old. Yeah. The soldiers broke in. This is the beginning of the war. Just broke in, bust the door open. And I'm gonna get into it because you know me, I'm a creative, and you know we can get into that too. I love to be creative because that's who we are. We are creative. But anyway, the soldiers bust into the door. They looking around. My man, get up, go, let go, yo, get up. And the language or the words I'm saying, I'm speaking Kolokwa, Liberian Kolokwa. So just like Jamaica, has patois, Liberia has Kolokwa. Okay, it's a form of English that's just spoken amongst all the different Africans, black folks that are dwelling within that region, that space, that know how to communicate with each other. They still do the English. We call it Liberian English, which is basically English. English is spoken in Liberian accent. Is that clear? Is that understood? Yeah, man. Yes. We're watching the blockbuster film. Yes, I. So, yes, I. Bust in the door. Yo, man, yo, get up, get up. So, we disoriented. We young, man. I mean, I'm like 8 years old. What the heck? Think about 8 years old waking your baby up, getting up, looking around. What is going on here? My uncle, one of the uncles who's Africans are just proud people, man. So it's sad to see what's going on over there in South Africa, but that's a different topic. Very proud people. So he gets up, just with don't forget you. These guys got guns, man. These rebels got guns, man. And at the time, those were Charles Taylor soldiers. And if you don't know Charles Taylor, you need to look him up right now. He's in the Hague right now, still doing time. Okay. One of the most brutal, I don't know, I don't even call it, I call it entity. And I don't mean no disrespect to family or friends or anyone. That's just the facts. Check the record. But anyway, let's continue. This man had the audacity to look, this my uncle had the audacity to look a soldier in his eye and was trying to correct him and tell him. Okay, in Liberia, we have this term, just like in Jamaica, you call it rude boy. Yeah, rude boy. Yo, rude boy. You're a rude boy, right? We have this thing in Liberia called Grona Piki. Grona Piki, the same connotation. Grona Piki, rude boy. But my uncle became a grown-up Peking. And grown-up Peking sometimes can make irrational decisions that can cost you your life. And that's how he was ended. So he challenged the soldiers, the rebels, those guys who were doing all kinds of drugs in their mind, not thinking clearly, not functioning clearly, um, brainwashed, and just shot him right there in front of us. Wow. Right there. Right there, just right there. Pow! Just took him out, man. Right there in front of us. Now you think about 8 years old. I'm telling you this story. It happened. I'm 44. It happened when I was 8. How is that possible? It's called trauma. It's called trauma. Yes, Rasquasi. That's why I have everything that I do. I coped to get me through my trauma throughout my life. And that was just part of it. That's why you go to everyday Pomjay every day. I say Pomjay every day because those are the everyday things that I had to do in order to cope for my childhood trauma that I didn't even know the word for it back then. I learned about trauma only after I got with my wife, my queen. We could talk about that later, but that was how I knew what trauma was because I was a rude boy. I was a Peking, a grown up Peking. But let me correct and let me say before I got into Rastafari and move the consciousness, let me give the eye an overview. I was a rude boy, a grown up Peking with a purpose. Mhm. I want to make that very clear, and you can check my record. I've been to every court system they have it. They're local, the regional, the all of them, and won every case they try to throw at me. So I'm a clean man. I have people that can vouch for me since I don't even know, over 30 years ago. I'm still the same. I'm consistent. And that's the thing I want to talk about more going forward. But yes, I. Yeah, man. Give thanks. That must have been it's unimaginable to see your uncle murdered in front of you at 8 years old. This is the cost of war that we don't hear about.
and the brethren is in his 40s, and I can imagine that still, has left a wound, ironically, that the brethren will have to deal with the rest of his life because it was so vivid. Um, how Talk to us about how you were able to get out of Liberia,
Oh
how
man,
you were escape the war. What was that story?
you asking some great stories, man. Look at the eye. The eye's asking all some blockbuster story. You trying to get everything, huh? Yes,
We're
I.
kicking off. We're kicking off African Liberation Month
Yes,
on the
I.
channel, so we wanted to kick it off with an African liberation story.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
I
Yes, I
being
love that
able to
question.
escape the valley of the shadow of death.
Yes, yes,
Um, we want to
yes,
get that testimony from the eye. So,
yes, I.
how did the eye escape the civil war?
That's a great question. Well, my father, I'm going to give you my father's story because my father's story connects to my story. So there is no me, there is no I without the I. So my father in California going to 1980, I think it was 86, 87, 88, circa in that area, um, was not only a victim, but a survivor of police brutality. And he got shot with a 12 gauge shotgun by one of the patrol police officer in Newport Beach, California. And when that happened, he ended up going to court with the defendant. The defendant was found not guilty. So you see the trend. This is 1988, and we are in 2026. We are still going through it, but I'm gonna continue. So when he, you know, didn't win the case against the officer in Newport Beach, California, they took him to civil court. So when they took him to civil court, my dad and his lawyers took the guy to civil court. He ended up getting, if I can remember quite, the number was 1.5 million. So 1.5 million, and this is in the 90s. This is like late, yeah. So like, because the whole thing didn't close when they issued him the money, probably until by the time he actually went to go get us to Liberia. That's how segue into how I came in, because without the money, there is no I. And then when I look at it even deeper, which just sounds kind of crazy, but I'm also an alchemist. So I look at things that are supposed to be meant for negative and bring you down and destroy you. And I take that, the same energy that it's supposed to do to destroy you, I take it and make it great. That's how I operate. So I'm a very extreme, very high energy mind.
So um, that um, whole experience of coming out of Liberia, your father playing that role, how did that impact the eye?
Man, that's a very in-depth question. But let me tie you back on how I got here. So after my father got the money, he ended up, you know, knowing about the wars happening in Liberia, and he had to do something. And he's still recovering from his bullet wounds, still recovering, trying to recover and be well. But he had to go to Liberia to recover me and find me and make sure I was well before he can move on. So he ended up doing his research, connecting with the right people. Um, and he actually had assistants, and assistants were actually the government, the US government, because of what they put him through. They felt the best they could do is help assist him to locate where I was. And he located me. I was in a refugee camp. And in that refugee camp was another life, another story. And like I said, the book, I go more in details to the reality living in a refugee camp. And that it was a whole different reality. But yeah, from the refugee camp, we ended up, he first, I would have to tell you this story because this is very integral in how all this happened. My father, I have to, this is, it is very integral. So my father was married, and the reason why he got shot, the caveat, that's what I was looking for, the caveat, the reason why he got shot, he was with a white woman. So I have a stepmother. Yeah, it gets more complex, right? So, so it said don't touch the apple, right? But um he was married to the white woman, and at the time, I had a white mother, and at that era, even it's still to this day, people still frown upon, a relationship with black and white, which is that's a whole different topic. But he basically, it wasn't okay. Yeah, I don't even think the woman's family, the woman he liked and the woman he was with, liked it. The people I'm connected to didn't like him at the beginning. But anyway, I think that had a lot to do with it. That's a different story. And that's something I want to really do some investigation down the road. But that reality was crazy because the woman, the same woman that he's married to, actually was able to help him locate me more efficiently than anybody could. So he sent her, he said, now this is now I want the item to listen and pay attention to the information because the item would deduce the information you need to know what's happening here. So my father sent two people, two representatives. He sent his best friend, his name is Nasana. Shout out to Nasana if he's there. I was also talked about Nasana in the book. He was one of the individuals that actually went back to Liberia during the Civil War to get me. And my dad sent his wife, Marlene, at the time. Um, shout out to Marlene. Hopefully she is never too late. She can always do that interview with me because I've been trying to get in touch with her. Hopefully she's watching this. Marlene, if you're watching this, hey, I want to hear your side of the story. I want to know. I really want to know what really happened that day. My father got shot by a 12 gauge shotgun, and you were there and you experienced everything. I want to hear what you went through. So please, if you're watching this one day, hit me up. Let's have that talk because we ain't all gonna be here forever. And I want closure. I know people talk about there's no closure, but I want closure. So anyway, we'll move on.
So um so your stepmother and your father's friend,
Yes, that's right. That's right.
they risked life to come to Liberia to come and find the eye. So that must make the eye feel good to know that your father
Oh,
had invested in the eye
yes,
to go and search for the eye.
absolutely. That's why I carry myself a certain way because I know I'm important. I'm a big deal. Tell them friends I'm a big deal. You better know you're important. You better act like you're important. You better act like you have sense. You better know that you come from a lineage that greater than anybody can tell you otherwise about. You better know it. Yes.
Do you know how she found you in Liberia?
Yes, I'm gonna tell you. Yes. So basically, Nasana, being a African black man, and this is in Sierra Leone now, he goes in Sierra Leone to the bank and he's supposed to be trying to get some money because this is the money now that he's going to use to exchange to do the deal to get me out of the refugee camp or whoever the contact was, right? He goes, no, boop, nothing, rejected. His own African brother didn't want to hear from him, didn't care anything about what he had to say. He wasn't important, didn't whatever he had to do say it was not important. So he just overlooked him. So Marlene had an opportunity. Marlene went in there. What you think happened, Aya?
Marlene got through. Looked like she looked like Jesus. So this is the mentality in the colonized society.
Yes, yes,
I mean, so your father was very strategic
yes,
in sending Marlene there. Probably he knew that
yes,
she would be more effective.
Mhm.
And it's sad to know that we treat each other in that manner.
Yes,
But it's not surprising. You know what I mean?
facts.
It's not surprising. But give thanks that Marlene was able to get
Yes,
through.
That's
Never met
yes,
the eye.
and that's why I always give her that room. Don't get I wrong. I was hurt. I was devastated because they got divorced and they broke up. When I was younger, when I was a youth, and that hurt that devastated I to a certain point that I have trauma from that too. But I didn't know what that was or what that meant until again I met the queen. You see, there's a pattern here, and if the ones have their queen, pre she love that your queen. See, appreciate, love your queen because they bring a perspective that I don't care what kind of man you are, you'll never bring. Okay. Because my queen opened my eyes, I don't think no other human being, or at least a man, could have done. Because I'm known the way I was grown, the way I was raised, the way I was, brought up was a very, like people say, you know, um, toxic masculinity. And it's real. I ain't gonna lie, I had to break away from some of those toxic masculinity. But like I said, I didn't know because I was being raised by who I was being raised with. And this is how their life, this is how things go. This is the culture. So I had to start doing my own research and doing my own evaluation and citing the queen a little differently and saying, hold up, what if she's sick? How I expect her to make my food? What if she, I just start thinking all these things. What if this and that with the queen? Why I can't step in and do it? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. The time I grew up, the household I grew up, if you caught in the kitchen cooking as a man, there was a problem. And I had a problem with that. I had a problem with that because I love to cook. That's another thing the I them. I don't know, not everyone. I know the I know, but I cook. I've been cooking since I was a very young child. So probably over 30 years I've been cooking.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Yes, I.
So it's very serious, very serious. Um, as we say, we give thanks for how things unfolded. What's your earliest memory of coming to America?
Uh-huh.
And then bring us to your journey
Yes,
in
I.
terms of discovering Rastafari,
Yes.
embracing Rastafari.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so let's go forward to the question before Rastafari. I Rasquas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I give I the question before the Rastafari question.
Okay. No, I'm saying, give us your first impression of coming to America.
Oh, okay.
As if, of coming to America after you were picked up by Marlene.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
your
that's a great question.
what was that like
Yeah.
returning? Well, how did you feel? What was the emotion like?
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful question. It brings so much mixed emotions to my goodie. I start feeling a certain way. But one of the things that comes to mind was a relief, a relief of tension that I felt safe. I felt I didn't have to hear any more gunshots. I didn't have to see any more unalive bodies. I didn't have to be around any situations that demeaned me and undermined me and mistreated me or abused me. I felt safe. And America at that point, at that time, opened my eyes in a way that I never thought it was possible. I was like, wow, people can play, have fun, and not be deterred or bothered or interacted with. They can just live their life without people bothering them, at least at the time. And it was just because all I had known at that time now was war. So I just wanted to leave the war. I just wanted to get out. I don't know how, what, where, how, just get me out because it was a reality. I was told it lasted, I was told it lasted like 6 months. But for me, after I did my research, I thought I was there for 2 years. 6 months. I said 6 months. What? I said 2 years in my brain. That's what my brain registered. So I'm telling the eye, the first person I actually heard it outside of the book, it was actually 6 months. I thought it was over 2 years.
That's how it felt.
Yes.
So where was the first place in America that you landed?
California, California knows how to party.
What year was that?
1991. And that was the year when Pac and Biggie, all those guys, the hip hop world was just dominating. And that was the time when dance hall was really, I already know. Come on, yeah, I know. You know, that 90s, man, people think they got something, but they don't know what we were living through moments, and we were living through a time that was just special, man. Words can't really describe it now that I'm talking about it, because I'm like, I'm living it, you know. But I was in California, and I was in that era where Pac, you know, and just all that West Coast energy, you know, Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg and all the West Coast guys, you know, Ice Cube, Ice T, you know, even Nipsey and those guys weren't even around back there. You know what I'm saying? Resting, power to Nipsey, a great legend that's not here with us any longer. But you know, I was with a lot of those folks, in that era, and that was the feeling, and also the feeling of that era, the tension of racial issue was so bad. I don't People don't know back then it was terrible. I'm talking about I remember there were like literally fights amongst like the black population, black people, African American black people, I and then like the Latinos. It was bad. It was so bad, man. I was like, what is happening here? I used to get stories from my uncle who he went to like Upland High. And Upland is an area in they call it Inland Empire in California. That's like a good 45 miles from Los Angeles, in the inner city of yeah of LA. It's like the outskirts of LA. Okay. And when did you become conscious of Rastafari? Oh man, I love that question. That's a beautiful question because Rastafari was more than just people talk about the faith, right? For me, it was more of a savior for me because I needed something to prove. Like I said, remember my grandma. We're going to the beginning, to inception. My grandmother was a Baptist, gifts of heaven. So she told me about the beginnings, the early foundation, right? And I always want to say, who is this person? Because Jesus was the mentioned, continuously in the book when my grandma read, the Bible to me. And she would just always talk about this guy. But then when I got older, it's like this person doesn't exist, man. They tripping. There's no way this person is. It does. There's not. How can a person be this whatever? And I try to search that person. I really did, man. And I did high and low. It wasn't happening. So I got discouraged. And I actually was a Bible thumper at one point. People who know me back in the day, yeah, it wasn't. I was hot, okay, because and they know me. Ooh, they see me coming. They scatter. They will go the other way. No, this guy is about to get us, and it wasn't because I'm trying to be better than. It was like I said, my grandmother raised me, but like I said, I also started becoming a lot of contradictions. So I had to like come out of that and start to learn who I was before I started try to get more into that. So because she gave me the foundation, it helped me learn and figure out who Rastafari was. And how it happened was because I got tired of just going to church. And I said, if I'm gonna go to church, I need to really get information about this person that really existed. Is there a person that really existed? So I started doing my own personal research, literally, just because I wanted to know. And I stopped a little bit, but I picked it back up. I stopped because at the time I was deterred by the the music videos, the hip hop life, the glorification, the all the things that was happening at that time. You want to chase that because that's what they promoted. That's what people was pushing. But that was a distraction, and I noticed that after I realized this doesn't help me. I feel like I needed more because it got empty after I did get the girl that I wanted. Yeah, my past. They can check it. The record is all over. I had women I felt, wow, this is a beautiful woman. Other men would want them, and I don't have a problem with that. But I had a life where I know other people want, but that doesn't mean nothing to me because at the end of the day, I found something even greater than that, and that was the Savior for me, for me. and the savior of Rastafari. I was at a point where I got tired of waiting for immigration. And yeah, I know that's actually how I met the I. I met the I because I was downtrodden, couldn't do anything. I didn't have no means of going and getting anywhere. I had to make things happen. No work, no license, no nothing. Those was my time. When the I was seeing me, the I didn't know, but that was my reality. I until a certain point when I got my green card temporarily, and I was able to move a little further. But I got into Rastafari a little deeper because I got to a point I didn't want to. I just didn't want to keep doing good. I didn't. I was like, man, I'm doing all this good, but nothing's happening. What's up, man? I'm tired of this, man. What's going on? You know, you just always trying to do right, but it's like nothing happened. You're doing all this right, but something kept telling me, just keep doing right, just keep doing it. One day it's gonna happen. Something gonna change. So I just stayed with it, even though I was so against it. And when I finally stayed with it, when I ended up learning about it, when I was in California, I ended up going to Clark Atlanta University to play football. And I was going to play, and as I was going to go play football, I had to take a class in Clark Atlanta, and it was a religious studies class. The religious studies class had the teacher gave us an assignment. The professor gave us an assignment. They said, "Oh yeah, shout out to the CAU, Northern University, first of all." Um, they told us, I mean, when you think about that, Ralph Crossy, it's crazy. I mean, I really think it's just knowing how everything unfolded is really crazy. I hate to say that word, but I really it's like wow, everything really just happened the way it happened, man. Wow, I just can't. Yeah, I lost my train of thought because I just can't believe I'm. Sometimes I still think I'm living in a fantasy. I feel like this is a fantasy. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Continue the story. So you went to the university, man. What happened? So I was in a university and we had a religious studies class. In that religious studies class, my teacher said, "Hey, yeah, I need y'all to write. You know, what religion you guys are into, why you in it, and what's the purpose? Why do you do? Why do you follow it?" So, like I said, I was into Christianity. I was into the Baptists. That's what I knew. But I feel like I wanted to learn something different. I just wanted to learn something different because like I said, I couldn't find what I was looking for there. So I said, let me just veer off and see what else could there be. And then I stumbled upon because I had the seeds in me from a very young, early age, which was my father. He didn't know, but he used to play Peter Tosh album. You know, that Bush Doctor album and a lot of other great ones. And he once I would hear Unuo Vampire. You remember that song? Now that song, it sparked my curiosity. I said, "What? What the heck is this man saying? What are you talking about?" And then I started listening more, and I got into the album. I said, "Oh my God, this guy is great." I learned about Peter Tosh, and then got more into Bob Marley. So though the seeds was there, it was just spreading. I wasn't aware. I didn't know. I just knew it was there, but I didn't know nothing about it. But it came full circle when I was in Clark Atlanta University when I had that religious studies class, and that class made me analyze, made me think about everything religiously that I've ever done, and why am I doing it? What's the purpose of it? And that's how I came across Haile Selassie, the King of Kings, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, out the elect of God out of Ethiopia. Ethiopia. I said, what? Huh? There's a real human being that was real life that was that like that. I said, no, 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 no. Hold on. Why have I not heard about this person? Why are they hiding this human being from me? Like this person existed? Is this real? So I got more into it and I started researching. I said, oh my goodness. And then I got really interested in learning about reggae, roots reggae, because I always been a dancehall guy. I went through my phases, my evolution. I love me some dancehall. I like I said, I even through the dancehall, I evolved into gangsta ras because that's another thing I want to talk to that about. I'll be later. But is don't think because you sit in the Zen world, right? You're in the Zen world that everything is all right. Everything is it's only all right because you want it to be all right. But there's other people around you, other things, other entity that will come into your world and they will destroy it if you don't know that other world exists. I'm gonna put, like you would say, stick a pin. I'm gonna stick a pin in because that's my spiritual awakening, folks. That's a whole different level of information.
It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Is what
There it is. There it is. There it is. Yes, I. Yes, I. Yes, I.
So, um, so you wrote your paper on Rastafari for that class?
Yes, because when I researched, I started reading, all the information kept taking me to Ethiopia. I said, what? I actually, at the time, don't forget, I'm born in a continent. But I don't know much about Ethiopia. I didn't know much about it. Because that's another thing that is a problem in the continent. We don't even teach our children in schools about our history, about our people. Like, it's not like a mandatory, that's a problem. How are you in a whole different continent and you learn about other people's stuff? Hmm. Why do I care about Abraham Lincoln and all those folks? Yeah, I know they're part of America, but I need to learn about Liberia first. The people who came before. That's what I need to learn. But I didn't learn nothing. I need to learn about Africa first. I need to learn about all the 54 different countries. I need to learn about all the islands. That's the kind of curriculum that needs to be in schools in Africa. You shouldn't leave your country until you learn about all of the other places outside. We have to implement learning about ourselves and our people. It's very important.
Serious vibration, King. So talk to us about the bodybuilding, the weightlifting. Where did that come in?
Man, bodybuilding has always been part of my journey. Bodybuilding taught me everything one needs to know about life. If one wants to see interviews, I've just done a previous interview with actually one of my coaches, one of my earlier coaches, one of my mentors, former officer Ronald Howell, retired, great human being. He got me into bodybuilding. I also have another great individual. Outside my father, I told you guys about my father. He was one of my biggest supporters. My sister was, but another individual, his name is Walter Smith. Another individual I'll be doing an interview on, and I know I'll do one with you, Ross Kwasi. But Walter Smith is another powerful giant, a king, who also had everything to do with my bodybuilding existence. But it started with Ron. He saw me I started off playing soccer because I was a soccer player back home. I was very good. I ended up playing for my high school team. I was a freshman. I used to play with my dad's team. My dad, I would play with his legends. A real quick caveat. My dad was what you call a national soccer player. So he played for the national team. And for most of us, especially those of us who are in Jamaica and even in London, I have family over there too in England. I got family everywhere, but they know it's a very, very serious thing to play for the national team, because the national team is kind of like the Olympics, right here in America. If anyone that plays for Olympics, that's a big honor. That's huge. So I come from that stock. I come from that lineage of people who like to exceed very, very high, not only athletically, but academically. My grandfather was, he went to school in England. Um, what's the school called? Oxford in Oxford in London, England. So he was a scholar. He was very, very smart. In Liberia, when he was there, he was actually the comptroller. He controlled a lot of what was going on over there. I think at Firestone. So he was one of the big guys. But we all know being a big guy come with a price. And I'm sure my father, on one day I'm going to do an interview on him. He will be able to tell me about that reality. But yeah.
Um, I wanna play your intro video for those who just joined us. We have Palm J every day here with us on the Lion Voice Network. We are hearing a blockbuster film
He's giving us. Yes, and you know, Rasquasi, you know, Hollywood and all them have been trying to talk to me about this a long time. I heard this story a long time, even when I was way before all the stuff that's happened. I was told I should have write a story when I was in high school, like because people couldn't understand, like what, how did you make it? How did you make it here? How are you still here? They couldn't believe that I even went to a civil war. They couldn't believe I even made it. So they've always been saying, yeah. Let's check out Palm J. From the competitive stages of bodybuilding to the world of a competitive multi-sports athlete to sports and fitness modeling, the entertainment industry, my journey has been about pushing limits and inspiring others. There's more to me than just muscle and fitness. As a father, husband, and an immigrant facing one of West Africa's brutal civil wars in Liberia, I speak on the real life struggles. It's a big name, people. All day, every day. Yeah. Channel, we dive into fitness, wellness, football reactions, and the power of resilience. Plus, let's not forget about the conversations that matters the most, like political issues, immigration, spiritual, and personal growth. This is where strength meets story. And I want you to join me on this journey. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss future content from me. I'm Jay every day. Yeah. Yo, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Yes, I. You can't say Rastafari don't have no muscle, man. We have everything in Rastafari. Tell him. And family, Palm J is part of our Lion Pride on Patreon, one of our channel's great supporters. So you can see the caliber of people that we have in our Patreon, in our inner circle. He's also one of our faithful people that you will see in the comments. If you come to this channel regularly, active in the channel, he'll drop super chats. Big up for that super chat. Yes, I. On Wednesday too. You know, yes, he's actively one of our great supporters. So it's an honor for I, and you know, I've known him before I had the channel. We go back, but yes, I. Yes, I can give him a story how we go back too. Go forward. Yeah, I want to hear that story, but it's an honor for I to be able to provide this platform, and I'm asking everyone to go to the Brethren YouTube channel, subscribe, support the same love that the item show to I. Yes, I want the item to show to the Brethren. The Brethren survived seeing his uncle murdered at the age of 8. Many other encounters with death, was able to get out of a civil war situation, come to America, first as a football star, American footballers in soccer, yes, then as an American football star, yes, sir, then to a bodybuilder, which you saw in that footage, and still doing great things now, switching into the content creation. Yes, sir. So that he can leverage, because yes, you also help people keep fit. Talk to us about the services, because I know you do. Yes, sir. Personal training. Yes, and even before this interview, the brother said, "Let me knock out some push-ups." show them the muscle. I got real life. Yes, yes. So talk to us about the services that the I offer. And absolutely. Physical fitness. Yes. Know, I as man, but also sister too. Yes, I. Yes, I. This is a very important question, and I'm glad that I mentioned it. Um, it's something that our community needs, our society needs, the world needs. If anyone is following right now, is watching, I would implore you, I would encourage you to go to palmjeveryday.com. On palmjeveryday.com, I highlight literally services that will help you if you're going through balance, because I focus on balance. Now I'm balanced just with your physical, but balance with your emotional, your spiritual, and your mental. So I want to implore everyone to literally take time, go to the website. It's a very simple, smooth website, but it's also very integrated. So you can go in there, have communities. I even have a school community that you can go on there and have access to it. I teach young folks who are eager. If you have a young one who's entering high school who loves to compete, because I'm a competitor. I think I'm living in the wrong life or the wrong reality, because right now currently I'm a stay-at-home father. I think I'm supposed to be here, but I'm also a coach naturally, and I encourage and motivate, and I have a high energy, and sometimes I think my energy is too high for my own family. So I know I belong in that environment where I need to coach and help folks. That's why I created Palm J every day, and I created these communities for people to plug in with me, tap in. I'm real. I run it virtually, so you literally don't have to leave your home. You can stay at your computer, your office, wherever you choose to be. You can be there, and you and I can work together. Whether it be like I said, I offer. I'll go down the line. For man, woman, child. I don't discriminate when it comes to helping revitalize the body or the goodie. You can be as young as 2 years old. I do developmental sports for our youth as well. I'm talking about I work from young folks, young as 2, 3 years old, because I work with my young ones, even all the way up to the second grade. But I continue with even athletes. If you're an athlete or a formal athlete and you just want to stay in shape, you just want to, make sure your body is well and you're functional enough to take care of your family and your children, your grandchildren, that's what I do. But I really implore you, I don't care if you're a man, woman, what have you, a child, check out the website palmjeveryday.com, and you will find everything that I currently am doing. And all of it stemmed from the things that I went through. So this is not someone you getting who's gonna do a theory. No, I've lived it already. I know it works because I'm 44, and that happened back when I was what 7. So I've learned PTSD is real. I'm gonna say it again, and everything in my website is catered literally to finding your balance and strengthening your mind and body. It's important for our people. It's important for this time, because if you look around the world, I almost started crying last night after I before I went to sleep, knowing what's happening over there in South Africa, and just knowing what's happening all over the world. But to specifically point to South Africa, because I was trying to go to bed and I just saw them. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is happening right now? And by the way, I Gikuluma Isisulu Kanyane Kanwane. I speak a little Zulu. Okay. Okay. So I'm very disappointed, because I know it's not all the South Africans, but I'm very disappointed what's happening over there right now. Those kind of things bother me because I am an empath. That's one thing I learned through learning about PTSD. And you know that tomorrow we're gonna be I'm there. You know the eyes there. You know Iman is there. So we're gonna be asking them questions about what's happening. There's a viral video of some South Africans that are interrogating a Ghanaian citizen, and there's some other, incidences of xenophobia. Yeah. This month, this is African Liberation Month. So here on the Lion Voice Network, we are going to be hearing from African voices. So all of the African things on Wednesday. Yeah. We have a professor that's going to be coming on talking to us about what's happening in West Africa right now. Okay. The Sahel states. Okay. There's a major invasion of Mali taking place, and also Niger under threat. Jihadists and all of this. We're going to break it down. What's happening. I love it.
So Wednesday. So this whole month, though, we are going into Africa,
Yes, I.
and going deep into, what's happening on the continent. African Liberation Month. We are in a critical time. World War III is here.
Yes.
And when we break down most of these global
Hot.
conflicts, this is why we can call it a world war, because
Yes.
tied together. When you look at the sides, they're being funded
It's here.
two different sides.
Yes.
You have the former colonial powers against the global south and Russia.
Yeah.
And we would include China in that global south, although they have their own interests, but there's definitely many, many proxy wars that are taking place right now. And Africa probably has the highest number of proxy wars that are taking place right now in this global conflict. So we comfortably say that World War III
Yeah.
is underway. However, we have to educate ourselves so that we can be intelligent on how the chess pieces are moving on the chessboard. The diaspora has a major role to play.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that we
Pivotal.
are educated. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that being said, talk to us about the pivot into the content creation, because you
Yes,
have
I.
more than one channel now. Uh, but even before you get there,
Yes, I.
because when I met the eye, you were just starting to grow the eye locks.
Oh
Um,
man. Yes, I. I
it,
can go into
it
that.
was, yeah,
Yes,
it
I.
was that, because you don't have to be have locks to be Rastafari.
Yes, I.
These
Yes,
days
I.
it's acknowledging the King, acknowledging the teachings, living by the liberty. To I, that's what makes the I a one Rastafari. So why did the I decide to grow your natty?
I love that question. Oh man, the IB has just a really good question, for real. Yeah, well, the IB has some really good questions, but I'm gonna go continue with that. Well, for me, this is a personal thing, right? Um, it's a personal thing because I could have gone the wrong way, and
Yes.
like I said, and I shout out, big up to Turbulence. I could have been one of the most notorious. I got saved by the King and His grace. It's so glorious. I could have been one of the most devastating. I got saved, and that's what happened.
Okay.
I got saved.
So you could have been a criminal, is what they are saying.
I could be worse than that. Let me say this to that.
Yeah.
When Iman was younger, Iman used to watch all those movies about the hood and the life and all that
Yes.
low vibrational thing that they feed I in those
Yes.
community that's the culture. See? I used to
Yes.
watch those things, and those things will encourage you to be a robber, to be a gunman, yeah, a shatter. You
Yes.
see?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a bank robber, all them things
Yeah.
that I know. That's what I was inspiring to be because the thing was get money, 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 gets money, buku, buku, money, moku. That's it. That's all we think. That's all they want. So you do whatever it takes to get that money. But what happens is when you're young and all you want is money, you're not thinking about the future because you're willing to do whatever it takes right now to get that money. But the things you may do now could affect you negatively in the future if you neglect your principles and your morals, your integrity and your honor and everything your parents or the people in your environment taught you, your culture. Because the one thing I'm gonna remind people, I lived in California, I left and came back because I have family. But California was a place where people inspire to go to. People want to go there because of stardom, because of what you can accomplish. And at the time, I was so young, and being there was like everything. Everybody wanted to be there. It was like it was a goal. But that place can take your soul. Let
Yes.
me say it again. That place will take your soul, especially if you are weak.
Los Angeles.
I
Yes.
it would take it, and it would take it to a point where it would rinse it and just keep rinsing it to the point you get tired of either make up your decision. Am I going to deal with this?
It's a serious heights because if you look at the Walk of Fame, what is the Walk of Fame in LA? It's falling stars, stars that have been cast down upon the earth. You know what I mean?
Man,
So that's why I would never accept a star on the Walk of Fame. You know, you cast yourself down, and when you look at what most of these ones did to get that star, and I'm not willing to pay those prices.
like I said,
You know what I mean? So
the
it's a
book will
serious.
reveal much and much more in detail, Aya, about that life.
Yes. So you say you could have been the most notorious. So the
Yeah, man.
Nutty now.
Okay, the
What
Nati.
made yes.
So the Nati was something. I'm gonna tell you this because this is an African thing. You see,
Yes.
this is an African thing. This is I and I roots to
Yes.
the world, to the earth. This is I and I roots. So let me break it down. When you're born in the country, at least within our West African area, whether it be Ghana,
Yes.
Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, in that area, if you're born as a young person and you have nati, have a lot of hair in the Nigerian Yoruba culture, you're I think either Yoruba or Igbo, but you can check that out. You can do your research. But as a young person with hair, you automatically become a priest or a priestess.
Okay.
So I was born with this natiaya. So
Okay.
when I was born with it, my father tell me, remind me all the time, boy, when you was born, you had so much hair, it's like a little mop over your head. Just coming out the womb, I with a fro. Just imagine that. Like a
Yes.
already ready fro. He said, your hair was crazy too much. I said, wow. He said, yeah, that's how you was born. But throughout my life, as I can remember as a young man, first time that I recognized it was in high school. I said, oh wow, I can grow hair. I didn't know I can grow hair. So I started growing my hair. When I started growing my hair, remember I was grew up in the 90s, so that's the braids. So I and I rock braids. I was a rock, I rock them thing there. Like one of the best rock braids wearer. I rocked them things. That's how I did it. I wore them because I was a culture. I also wore fro. I let my fro grow and let it be out. I
Yes.
didn't care. So I've always had hair.
Yes.
What happened with me cutting it, I mean, tell I and how I even come to this point is all my life, my family, like again, I told you I was born in a Baptist situation.
Yes.
So my whole life, they would tell me to cut my hair, 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 cut my. I always got to cut my hair. Why? They just, oh, you don't want to be. They thought they equated having hair to negative.
Yes. Yes.
Negative. If you have hair, is negative. The people, how they gonna look at you, how they gonna see you. That's how they perceive you. So if you have hair, you are resist. You represent a resistant, and it was just natural. So I said, I'm just a natural resistor because I'm not gonna do anything to my hair because you want to. But at a point in your life, there comes a point where certain decisions you have to make that you don't want to make that you got to make because you don't know if it could take you in a direction that's going to make your life better or take you in a road to make your life worse. But you got to make that. I can't tell you when that day comes or if that day comes for you, but it came for me. And at that time, I didn't want to do it. But in order for me to get a certain opportunity that I wanted, when I graduated high school, I had, like I said, I had hair like crazy. And I had my locks, it was not locks at the time, it was braids, but it was long. I ended up, I didn't even cut, I kept it up to until I was 20 something years old. I ended up cutting it initially, I can't remember. It was due to I graduated after I graduated my undergraduate degree because I had to do my undergrad. So I had it. I went to Ohio State and finished my degree at Ohio State University, the Buckeyes. So go Buckeyes! Hope we can go to another national championship. We'll see. But anyway, for any sports people out there, I know we probably have many, or probably we don't have none. But I'm a sports guy. That's part of my background. So I can't deny it.
Yes.
But you know, it's important. It's very important.
Serious thing. So how old were you when you started growing your natty?
Um, growing up, I would say probably around 16, 15, 16 when I really started, because I think that's when I started just becoming a like, look, let me say it to that like this. When I was a youth, I was one of those youth because I came from the war. I didn't have no structural way to get myself together. I was just wild. I was a wildlife, or what you call a wild child. So I got to the point where even I was about to box my father. And then think about that. What you'd want to box his father at such young age? That's how my mind was. Well, you were wounded. You had seen murder. You had seen death, destruction. So of course it was shaping the eyes. So as an adult, how old were you when I started regrowing it? When I started getting conscious, I love that question. I was about 20, like 24, 25, right in that area, you know. Okay. How old was the eye when I met the eye? Oh man, I think it was in my 30s, because I that was 2012. I think I just turned 30. I had just turned 30, like right at that time frame. I just turned, it was 2012, I think. Yes. 2012, 2013, around that area, 2014, around that area. Yes. Yeah, and yeah, I just, yeah. So I started growing. It was 2012. I started regrowing, and I started regrowing because before, like I was saying, I grew it throughout my undergraduate degree because people had negative things to say if you had locks, especially back then. I actually, let me say it like this: I was the originator. I was in my community. In my community now, imagine that, right? You were like, what? No one in my community ever wear these. These were forbidden. Okay. And it's when you say your community, you mean the Liberian. My initial Liberian community, because the Liberia in general is dominant with Christianity, and they got a little, probably 5, 10%, probably 12%. I don't know, Muslim. I don't know, but and then everything else traditional, everything down the road. But majority is Christianity, and we already know what that leads us. Yes, yes. And Western Christianity. That's a different ball game. That's a different ball game. If you're into sports, that's like playing football and you playing baseball. They don't even make sense. Serious. And you mentioned you love the Naya Bingi. But I noticed you do shave your beard, and was that a conscious decision why the shaving of the beard and the mustache? Yes, and I love you asked that question, because like I said, I revere the Naya Bingi, and the Naya Bingi, in my opinion, is the mansion of mansions, because it don't let you get away with, just like the eye said, you still have to account for who you are and what you are. And that's why I love the Naya Bingi. So when it comes to, let's just say, um, wearing a face mask, because at the end of the day, that's what all we are doing. Whether you wear makeup or whether you have hair and you can create the design and shapes that you want, is a mask, right? You're creating something. We all know what natural looks like, right? We all who embrace natural, which is what I love. I actually love natural. If you really know me, for anyone who knows me, I'm too natural. I'm so natural that the people who are so-called natural get uncomfortable around my natural. I'm just like, yeah. But at the time when you're dealing with a what you say, the palette of the people, right? Yes. And you have to, if you into this world, like we were saying, transitioning into content creation, you have to find a lane that your audience appreciates, and your audience can receive you, and it's palatable, right? So the way I look natural, I know I have pictures all over the world, all over on the internet. Natural, some people get scared, boy. Let me tell you, when I go around, they be like, oh, they are. I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt you. I don't even. Yeah, you can't get nothing, no opportunity, no nothing. So as a I man, as a natural man, I don't let that deter me from getting what I need. Because I know at the end of the day, without all this, I'll be fine. Without having to do all this, without having to wear the makeup, without having to do the face mask, I would be great. But I do what I do because I have to coexist in a society, in a world that is very contradictory, that is not even realistic. And if you are not moving in a way in how you know how to, you have to have your levels now. There's levels to this thing. Yes. Because like I said, if you go to California and you're not strong, you're weak, you're done. Yes. Because
And that's one of the reasons I love having ones like the eye, because I like to show the diversity
yes,
in Rastafari.
yes,
You know, I like to let ones know that you can't put Rastafari in a box.
no, I.
I mean, not everybody is going to be like, I we don't trim since 1999. Everybody gonna take that path. But mean that you're any less
yes,
Rastafari than anybody else. You know
yes,
what I mean? So we have to get to the maturity as a movement
facts.
where we can accept people where they are. Everybody have their reason, and people evolve. I've seen people long Congo, Bongo, ancient ideas, long biceps, and then you see them and they trim and bald and shape up. You know what I mean? And then I've seen others where I've seen people where were very clean cut, shape up, and you see them 10 years and they're natty Congo, Bongo.
That's
So
life.
people are in different places on their journey.
That's life.
And what we have to do is have that tolerance and have that grace. And I know this brethren, and I can tell you, it's such a great brethren. I know his queen. You know what I mean? This is a family man. This is a powerful angel of Rastafari. So, because some people will watch the eye with the clean shaven face and the tattoos and thing and say, who is this brethren? And they will judge the eye.
Yes, I.
based
Yes,
on appearance.
yes,
I mean,
yes, I know that, and that's what I bring. I bring the controversy, right? Why? Because it's reflection of life. Because what happens is, like, I see the eye. I'll tell the eye. The eye is eye reflection. Eye. That's why I was connected, because when I reason with the eye, I said, look, this man have the mindset of where I'm trying to go and where I need to go. If I reason, we can connect, we can find ways that we can grow our community and make it stronger together. Together. But ones just want to take, take, and never give. I'm not the guy. I'm not the person. I'm not the one. I like to collab. I like to work, because that's the only way we can make it happen. And we cannot look at each other besides our heart and our mind. Like I said, we got to get past the what do you call it? I like to say it's distraction. Yeah. So let me make this clear. I want most of the item, especially the ancient, because one of the people that motivated I way back in the day was Bob and Peter and all those guys. Yes. That's how we knew. If it wasn't for them, let me just be frank. Let's be frank. A lot of Africans will never know none of the. They will never. We will never know none of nobody. Singers and the players of instruments. We want to know them, and they did it. They help us come in, and that's how we start knowing. Whoa, this world exists, because we don't know nothing of this world. If you live in a world where it's controlling your brain, how to think, it's not going to allow you to know this reality exists. So you can't blame somebody for not knowing that this exists. Yes, I. Let me give a joke. Stank and Dank. Stank and Dank said they will judge him for trim while white girl ride them like a jet ski. That's a fact. Yes, I. It's true. Yeah, everybody have them things. Of course, it's true, but you gotta let. I can tell you that the brethren is thing. But this was a comment that I also saw. Stank and Dan, you're nice enough to place. We love it. He said the white boys are stockpiling and preparing, while our people are caught up in the mix up. No, you know what I mean? Whatever input there, but that was in regards to what's happening globally. That as Black people, we're not being prepared. As someone who's coming out of war, you see the war is escalating everywhere on Earth right now. The signs are on the wall. They're everywhere. Yeah, yeah, it's on the wall. Wars, rumors of wars. Yeah. Famine. They're getting ready to collapse the global economy. Um, how does the eye see the struggle right now, and then from there lead us into
your pages, because I really want the eye to plug the YouTube pages.
Absolutely.
Let's get his subscribers up, his watch time up. Are both of your pages monetized, or any of your pages monetized?
Only the Super Citizen is getting closer to being monetized, but it's only for it's for the subscriber. Yeah,
Yeah.
Super Citizen. Once they get subscriber, it will start making money. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to push the Super Citizen page.
Mhm.
So if you're watching this on the replay, go straight to Super Citizen. And how many subscribers you at now?
Right now, I think it's like over 150 or something like that, and I have to have a thousand or something like that. I mean, they have all these weird rules, man. Because getting the full 4,000 watch hours, it seemed like it was so
4,000
simple.
watch hours,
Yeah,
1,000
yeah,
subscribers.
yeah.
So make sure that the item go over to Super Citizen and subscribe. Let's get him up there. We're about to hit 70,000, but I remember when we were at 150 as well. So, and I reached with the brethren, and consistency, the brethren is being consistent.
Yes, sir.
He's part of our network. So this is part of our extended family.
Yes,
As I say, the Lion Pride on Patreon. Virgin supports the channel every month, so it's an honor for I to have him on the platform. And
Yes,
this is
sir.
just part one of him coming. But the Virgin is doing some mightyful works,
Yes,
and
sir.
we want to focus as the armor Gideon get hotter,
Yes.
especially for the Rastafari man standard. I'm a believer. I try to do 100 push-ups every day, just compulsory. Do certain things to keep the structure in place. I'm nearing 50 years old, so we want to make sure we do it pull-ups and them thing that we run. So I definitely want to reason with the eye for the Rastafari man standard about physical fitness.
Yes.
Physical fitness is important. Gideon, in unstable times, you can't afford to be getting sick all the time, breaking down. You got to be strong. You might have to thump a man in nine face too.
Yeah.
So all of these things, you want to be ready. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You have to be able to stay dangerous as a man.
Yes,
As
I.
it's better to be a warrior in a garden
Yes,
than
I.
a gardener in the war. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Warrior fitness.
Yes,
We want to bring him forward just to talk about as a man.
Mhm.
What are some basic routines to keep yourself, and then also as a man, as you get older, you need to work out to keep your testosterone up. You know what I mean?
Natural. Yes,
Yeah, if you don't work out, if you stop working out, your testosterone drop.
Your woman
Sexual.
gone. Your woman done leave.
Yeah, you have to keep yourself together. So give us give us your view about what's happening with this global war spreading, and then take us to what are the channels, and what are the difference between the two channels.
Awesome. I love that question. When it comes to the war, I mean, the day His Majesty Haile Selassie I was invited to the League of Nations, at the time, that's what it was called, what is so-called United Nations now, was actually called the League of Nations. And His Majesty went there, and his people were being attacked by the Italians with mustard gas, destroying the people's country because they want to conquer and take over. And His Majesty told the League of Nations at the time, listen, these people are doing some illegal things. They are gassing us. And guess what? And I'm not saying it that he said it like that. Those know the story. Most of the ones on here knows what His Majesty and how he said it. I'm not going to try to quote him verbatim, but I'm going to give you what my irids deduced from what he told the world. He said that, and he said, listen, you want to sit here, you're going to allow these people to keep doing what they're doing to us, and you guys want to think it's funny and be okay with it and not say nothing and do nothing. But one day, that time going to come when it's going to come to you, come to your backyard, come to your door, to your front door, and how you going to feel. So we look. Oh, that was what, 19, in the early, 15, 16, around that time era before World War One, right? Rasposi, am I in that area? Was that right?
Yeah, the League of Nations,
Legal Nations.
1930s.
It was in the 30s. Okay, so in
Yeah.
that yeah, in the area. Yep. So what around World War II era around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we're coming up on the anniversary of that
Mm.
vibration, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. And that was it. And ever since then, the information that was given from that day should be documentation and what was to come the rest of the world, the rest of our lives. Because if these
Yes.
people were bold enough to do what they were doing in the 30s, to human beings dropping mustard gas, and don't even get me started about what have happened here in this country in America and what has happened to the people who are native to this land just to get them out of their lands. We talking about mustard gas over there in Ethiopia. Let's talk about some of those radiation chemical stuff right here in this country, but that's a different topic. But what I'm saying is there has been grave danger to all of us, especially people that look like me and you and other folks who don't have the control, have the resources to make and change their lives. People are destroying the earth, and it's people with what you call massive wealth, stolen wealth, massive money, stolen money. And how they get that money? Their systems. I'm not going to go into all that. You've been around long enough. You know that, and I'm sure a lot
Definitely.
of the ones know. There's all kinds of schemes and all these things. Iman was one of those young people that been trying to get to scheme for a long time. I refuse to do it because I just not me. I'm not from that background. I'm not from that cloth.
Yes, yes,
When
yeah.
I was a young boy, my bodybuilding, my fitness was so right. The people at I think that I may know this place. It's called Bally's Total Fitness.
Yes.
Yes, they used to try to. I was 16, 15 or 16, 14, somewhere in that area. They used to try to get me to lie to the people and say I took their supplements and all these things, and I never took it because I wanted to get a little job there. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. And then they gave me the job. I said, okay, that's cool. I'll find another way. And that's the kind of principle I might have ever since I've been a youth.
Give thanks.
So even up to this point, when it comes to fitness, I know about that world. I know about the juice world. That's another chapter that I can talk that I can read when that time comes. I know about that world
Yes.
very well, very well. I got information, knowledge that can help the next generation to be better, and that's what I'm trying to do. I want to focus more on natural liberty because what is missing, even in the bodybuilding world, is everybody's driven and moved towards this monstrosity. Everybody want to see this big, enormous, crazy look, and you can only get that big, crazy look through taking steroids, taking the juice. And I'm against it. Yes, at one point I knew about it. I know a lot about it. I can tell the eye about it, but it's in the book. The details are in the book.
Yes.
But Iman didn't stay in that world. Iman left, and over 20 years, I haven't seen that world the way I used to see it.
Okay.
That's 20 years of discipline, of consistency. How many of the item know anyone that knows that lifestyle? I'm sure you know many, but let's talk about the ones who come into this world again. Not many.
Serious.
So I know that
Serious.
world, but I also know the world we need to be in. We need to be more natural living. That's where it's at, especially if you're getting older. I'm 44. People look at me and say, oh, you're not 44. I say, I am 44. How you going to tell me? Ask me about the 90s. I can tell you everything like it was written in the back of my hand. And that's the only time they know, like, damn, wow, okay, okay, Unc. I'm like, damn, okay, I guess I'm an Unc now. So yeah, I'm an Unc. But yeah, that was the reality behind that. That's question. And when it comes to
Yes.
the war, there is they gonna be war. The war ain't gonna stop because that day it happened, it will continue. So you got to be ready in the war. I keep trying to tell people about this website because I went in my hardship, all the things that I was suffering from, and figured it out and put it together. I said I need to help other people. That was one of the biggest things that was bothering me because I feel like I know too much. I got too much information, too much knowledge to just be
Yes.
sitting on it and allowing nobody else to benefit from it. Even though I didn't get ultimately what I ultimately wanted. I did want to become an NFL player. That was my ultimate dream. Because coming up as
Yes.
a youth and you playing at that level as a young person, the trajectory is the NFL. That's just how it is.
Yes.
But
Yes.
unfortunately, I was dealt another card. That card was called immigration pending. And that card didn't end until like damn near I just became a U.S. citizen a year ago. And not even a year yet. It's June of last year. Not even been a year. So my journey's been very long. So and
from being a professional athlete.
professional athlete, from being yeah, professional athlete, because I was going to that world. I mean, bodybuilding, football, somewhere I was going. All the evidence was there, the receipts was there. You saw the video, you saw everything. That's where I left off. I left off literally one show away from becoming a professional competitive bodybuilder, traveling around the world representing my country. One show away because I had to go. I had to leave it alone. I had to pause it. It's okay to pivot. It's okay because life is more important. And that's what I had to do. I had to go chase after life. Getting my papers, guess what?
Yes.
Because I got my papers, and I know a lot of ones probably don't care, they don't think it's a big deal. But living in America, getting your papers is a huge deal. Maybe it might not be as big as it is now because of what's going on, because all this craziness and this tyrant in office that's there. But anyway, getting your papers, people can tell you stories about it. That thing was coveted. If you had your paper, life was golden. It was great.
Yeah, and especially as a man, it allows you to earn
Yes.
money above the table.
Yes.
And really balance your family and
Yes.
these things is very stressful as a man
Yes.
when you don't have the ability to go out there and to earn for your family.
Yes.
Talk to us about the Palm J Everyday
Love it.
YouTube channel.
Yes.
What is that channel about? What will people who subscribe to that channel, what would they see?
Yeah, absolutely. Now that Palm J Everyday channel is just one of my later channels that I figure out. Let me create something to give an update of everything I've done in the past that people never seen, especially the people. A lot of us don't know YouTube been around since the 19, I mean, not 19, but 2005, I think, 2005-ish, 2004-ish. I was on there. I was one of the early people on YouTube, and I used to be on there just faithfully, just having fun. And I would do that because as an athlete, I wanted to get recruited from. I went to a JUCO, so you can get recruited from a JUCO and go either straight to the NFL or you can go straight to a big time college campus. So I wanted to get recruited from a JUCO to a big college. So I went, had my camera, I recorded my combine, the little photos you see me running around. I just took my camera and went to go record it. Had somebody record it for me. I put that camera, I put that tape on. I had over 200,000 views. That was back then in the day, back in the day. And they weren't giving money out there. Nowadays, Rasquasi, I'm sure that I know, they give money now. They give money.
Yes.
That's 5 forward over or what was that, over 20 something years ago, 20 years ago?
Yes.
So now, 20 years later, after I've done all those things that I've done, I've met a lot of celebrities. I'm gonna do a celebrity piece on all the celebrities. I met some of the celebrities. I'm serious. I know some people don't care. I know this is Rastafari, but there's a lot of things you can learn from celebrities, whether good or bad, and we all seen it. And you can take that good and you can make good use of it. But I met a lot of them, and some of the information I got metaphysically, I don't think people want to miss it. But I'm gonna do something on that. But
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
So that's Palm J Everyday.
Yeah.
And go subscribe to that channel.
Football, modeling, soccer, everything that I've done in the past. I tell my football stories when I was in JUCO, and I even got in issues with. And that's another thing. If you're from California, those are the ones from Cali or know Cali. At that time, Cali was. I was in college, JUCO, Long Beach City. I had little gangsters on my team. I was being threatened. Like gangsters wanted to fight me. Like I had to like ward off gangsters on my football team. We was teammates, but he's a gangster, and I'm just
Wow.
yeah. Those are the kind of realities I had to deal with. So those are stories I tell, I talk about. So when you get a chance, if you go to that, you will hear those type of stories. Yeah, that's what Palm J Everyday is. Just things that I did every day back in the day. Now, when we go into you say Super Citizen, right? So yeah, Super Citizen. Yeah, now Palm J Everyday. Yeah, Palm J Everyday.
Let me bring up the Super Citizen. Super Citizen. And it's spelled SUPA.
Yeah, super. Yeah, super citizen, CITIZE, and then 25. If you put 25, it represents the year. I put 25 because that was the year I became a citizen. 25. So when I became a citizen, how you put it? Put it you forgot the H. I see they, yeah, because it's very similar. It's very sensitive. I'm the only one that spells it like that. And I did it that way because I'm, like I said, I'm a brand marketing in my own right. Like I said, I've been studying this business for a very long time, and I'm also gonna speak about this whole algorithm crap that they got out here. I've been organic. I've always been organic. I don't think I will stop being organic. Don't get me wrong. I'll do the script stuff because the script stuff is what certain people like. But they also people like raw, and that's why I love the Lion Voice Network. We authentic, organic. You get you. This interview is a real interview. This is real me getting the real authentic, and this is not AI. You getting the real person. So when you're on a platform like this, you get the real interaction, and that's why I love this platform. So if you go to Super Citizen, it's majority about now. I already told people, caught people up from my 20 years ago what I used to do because I was doing some serious things, but immigration showed me another way out and I had to figure it out. And I did. So now I'm here at this age. Now my goal is becoming a citizen. Some people don't think it's a big deal. But for me, my whole life, I've been literally barred out a system that gave everybody else opportunities to live life and do everything they can. But because my path took a lot longer, over 18 years, even though I've been in the country for about 34 years, um, it took as long as it did. And I had to go through living underground and living a reality that I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think I was going to be here, but I'm here. And I'm here. And that super citizen now is showing my journey from the time that I started pursuing becoming a citizen and up to now. So that channel focuses on, you know, the reality of when I actually start the process of wanting to become a citizen. I think that process is a beautiful process because when I got that paper, I was so elated, even though a lot of people may frown on it now, but I know the Almighty, my ancestors are with me. Because let me say this, I would never leave my uncle out who told me, yo, and this is how it happened divinely, Ras Kwasi. This is how it happened. My uncle told me, he said, hey man, what you gonna do about that citizenship? So I said, what do you mean? I said, man, I'm too scared. And I'm a connected to the eye because this is how the eye came in too. This is how we end up getting more connected on that level. So he said, what are you gonna do about that? I said, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't think these people gonna let me be a citizen. I told him like that. He's like, what do you mean? I said, man, in the past, I'm a serious, you know, cannabis activist. I'm a serious, ganjapreneur. So I took it seriously. It's life or death with me. I'm not playing. But anyway, um, I ended up catching a major case. This major case ended up making me think of Rasquasi because as we go to our study group over there in Sankofa off of Georgia Avenue, I never knew there was a Rasta who was a attorney. Like, come on, man. Like that's why I love learning what I've learned when I was in DC because I learned that Rasta is not a monolith. Okay,
Yes.
I want people to really understand, and understand that Rastafari is not a monolith. We hear black people say, "Hey, black people are not a monolith." It's the same thing. We have different types of individuals, people. Yes, the general information is going to get here and there, but overall is not a monolith. So you will find a diversity of people within Rastafari with a diversity of skill sets. It can be from their surgeon to a senator to a lawyer to a doctor to a plumber. Everyone, an educator, the ranges goes on. A librarian, a professor. I mean, I can go down the list. That was what DC did for me. For any Rastafari out there in the world that's trying to follow this liberty, don't limit yourself to thinking we're this so-called dirty Rasta. We're more than that. We come from a rich past. You can't forget your past. I don't have these tattoos for nothing. Rasquasi, I know that I am don't get into that, but I embody what I am. If it's not on the outside, it's inside. But sometimes people can look at you and don't know what you are. But sometimes people
Mhm.
can look and get an idea. Okay, what are those saying? I'm not one of those that will put anything on me just to put on me. And even if I put it on me, it's my body. I have the right to do that. But I'm going to put something on me that I know I'm willing to live with, number one,
Yes.
and die for, number two, or unalive for, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, you better stand on it. You better stand on your square, whatever you put on your body. I can stand on my square all the way around with everything I got in my body because it didn't just come just to come. It came from a higher power. My ancestors, through my close connected people that was with me who departed, this is a way for me to stay connected. You
Okay.
have to find your way. I don't know. Everybody's way is different. Nobody's gonna convince me.
Everybody, yeah, everyone have a different path.
Nobody's gonna convince me.
As I said, I give thanks for the eye support as one of our Lion Pride. As the item can see the caliber of people we have in our Lion Pride and Patreon. Virgin also passed through the town hall meetings as well from time to time. So we're
Yes.
encouraging more people to get active because we're building a strong unit in our Lion Pride on Patreon. That's our inner circle. We're really looking to use that as a way to kind of shape the channel,
Yes.
have a sounding board, really get deep as we build. Um, we have a lot of plans for the channel. We're still a baby
Yes,
in
sir.
my eyes, and so I'm very grateful for ones like the eye for seeing the vision
Yes, sir.
and putting your money where your mouth is and investing
Mm-hmm.
in the channel. And again, it's an honor for I to bring the eye on this platform to strengthen what the eye is doing, that reciprocation. So I'm really asking the Lion Pride, this is one of us. So go to Super Citizen, go to Palm J every day, give him a subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Let's push the brethren energy. As I say, the beautiful soul, family man, hard worker, doing great works in the vineyard from that time until this time, as long as I've known the brethren.
Yes, sir.
He has been a strength. So it is great, and I think appropriate that I kick off our African Liberation Month programming.
Yes, sir.
Blockbuster story. I mean, from great tribulation to great celebration or celebration. We give thanks for the eye. If the eye can just give us some final word sound to the global
Absolutely.
family,
Yes, I.
and let the ones know how they can connect with the eye.
Yes, I. I love that question. I love this. I love this platform. Let me just say this before I get into my final sound. Rasquasi was the reason why I didn't get deported at a certain time because the I didn't know, but I was in a serious pinch. That day I called the I probably don't remember it, but I called the because I had a serious situation, and because you gave me, I think it was you, George, Ross.
Gentleman George.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he hooked me up because he couldn't directly help me, but he hooked me with another guy. And this guy, he ended up going to bat for me. And he went to bat. But I'm gonna tell you what I learned from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that, especially living in this economy, living in this world in America, everything is about money.
Yes.
I don't want people to sit around and play games with them with the reality. You better learn how to get that money. You better find a way to get that money if you're living in this reality. If you're living
Yes.
in a different world and you got your own situation, you're off the grid, that's where I'm trying. That's my goal. If I can get there after these children grow up and have access to Medicare and all this stuff that they need or healthcare, I'm going to do the same. But if you live in here, you got to have that money, and they don't care how you get it. And I mean that because I learned. Because when I had that money to pay that lawyer just to retain him, just to retain the lawyer. Maybe many of y'all don't know the Khalif Browder story, but it's a story that happened a long time. This young man passed away, no longer with us, RIP. But this young man got locked up for some very terrible small thing. And because his bail money that he needed was probably like, I don't know, $1,000, something minuscule, something that the other folks out there with all the wealth and money will sneeze at. They will pay that for their valet. You don't understand the kind of money that's out here. But there's certain people that don't want us to have access to it. We got to get it. We got to figure it out. We got to get it. We got to collaborate with each other. But the money is out here. Because I had that money, I was able to get that lawyer. That lawyer went into that courtroom, did his little courtroom thing because it's the money thing. Talked to them, got me to do what you call it, what was it? Uh community service. And then guess what? Because I was connected to the Rastafari community in DC, because of that, I proved to them that I ain't just smoking. I don't just smoke weed like we call it. I call it herb. I call it meditation. I call it something that's it's a sacrament, something serious. I had to prove that to them. Say, how can you prove it? Because I went to one of Ras Iris, and I have to say this before I leave. Ras Iris was one of the agents, and I know I I dedicate this episode to him. I wanted to make sure I'm available to do this episode because that agent, that elder was was a lot for me. Okay, and I want to show the item real quick. I'm gonna show the item real quick. Hold up 1 second. Let me fix this thing. Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna show the eye. Tell me if the eye can see. Okay, can the eye see the back? Can the eye see the back?
Irie.
Yes, I. That's right. I. This is the I jersey.
Okay.
When I don't know if the I remember. University of I.
Adversity.
Yes, yes, I know. This is Russ Iris. I dedicate this to the eye. So, and this is when we were doing a fundraiser way in those times.
Yeah.
That's why I still do it because the energy, the pure magnetic positivity that came out of that ancient was mystic.
Legendary.
Was the stuff that when I listened to Bob back in the day when he was sitting there talking about Georgie, the fireside, and I said, "Oh my, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is it." So yeah, this is for us Irish, you know. Give thanks to the eye, the ancestors, the ancestors. Yes, I. Yes, I. And my final sound for all of I and I. I'm gonna make sure it's very clear and is very succinct. So overall, I'm very, very serious about my community. I love my people. When I was actually in college, undergrad, I studied Africana studies. Even though I started out studying, I think it was criminal justice, uh, law enforcement, criminal justice, somewhere in that area, because of what happened in Liberia. The Civil War gave me this mentality that because there was chaos. Nobody know how to behave. They needed some kind of structure, some things to keep them in order, in line. So I thought by joining or learning about criminal justice will help that. But then I learned while growing up as a young man, I literally, after my father had that experience getting shot in Newport Beach, California, with a 12 gauge shotgun, I had to relive something similar, but fortunately, I'm here because I didn't get shot. But I experienced a reality that would live with me, just like many other post traumatic stress trauma that I've lived with for over 30 something years have lived with me. I will never forget this. I used to live in Columbus, Ohio. I had just gotten fired. I think that's what it was from Wendy's. I used to work at Wendy's, and it was not even a rightful fire. It was someone the manager was doing wrong, and he used me as a scapegoat. But that's another story. It's in the book as well. I talk about everything I have because I remember so much, and at the time when I remembered everything, I recorded it, so it's real. But I get older, I move on and try to create something new. But that that did a number. It did a number. So at the end of the day, what I escaped from, what I made it from, I tell the eye all the time, I feel like I'm living a fantasy. I don't even think I'm living real life because I have a family now. I didn't even think I'd be here. I have a queen. You know, she don't like that because she feel like it's so highly. Oh my God. I'm like, look, there's certain things about you don't know, but that's a different story. Our queens are, our queens are they don't want to believe it. They don't like that. They don't want it because it's too much pressure. They get scared, but they got it. It's natural, especially the ones who mean well. Stick with them. I'm talking to the item who's still looking for their queen. Be that queen balance. That's what Russ Iris used to tell me all the time. Russ Iris knew me when I was when I had no youth, when I was just with my queen. And Russ knew me, and Russ Iris remembered me after I had my youth. And when I brought my youth to the eye to check my youth, he always used to remind me all the time. Balance. You there for the balance. Don't get too caught up in your emotions. You're not there for nothing else besides love and balance, keeping her balanced. She needs you. That's what Haile Selassie represented for me. He represented balance because it
Balance.
was with his queen. Without his queen, there won't be, we can't recognize the eye. Let's just be
Yes, they
real.
have such a beautiful family.
Let's just be real. Give thanks, Aya. It's the Trinity, the real Trinity. We know the Trinity.
Man, woman, and child.
Yes, I. That's always been I and I way of life. That's always been I. But just because that's my way of life, let's be clear, doesn't mean I gotta do harm on anybody else that live other than I am. I want to make that very clear. At the same time, I'm not gonna let anyone get away with hurting children. Not in front of me. I would not let anyone get away with hurting a woman. Not in front of me. I would do.
Serious thing.
So those are the things. Elderly. I would not let anyone. I just who I am. I would put my whole goodie on the line for those things. So I implore everyone, encourage, motivate. I don't like to get into all that. I just want to tell people go visit palmjeveryday.com. Everything that you need to know about me and what my journey, what my path, and everything that I'm about, what I'm actually doing now, from the past to the present to the future. I want to remind everybody that's also part of a trinity. It's connected from the past to the present to the future.
Yes.
It's all there. So I want you to go there, palmjeveryday.com. I want to leave you with this. Sometimes your soul recognizes home before your passport does.
Mm.
I want people to think about that. I want people to also think about we're not divided. We've just been disconnected. And I want one more thing I want to leave with everyone. Truth is uncomfortable, right? But it's also the only thing that sets you free.
Mm.
So whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you are, know your truth. Live your truth. Be your truth. Know your truth. And I will leave, like I always say to everyone, live and let live. I give thanks. Rasquasi is a great, awesome Idrin. He's been doing the work for Rastafari. I didn't just come on this platform to come on this platform. I come on this platform to encourage a lot of ones to support the brethren. Give the brethren the money. Yes, the brethren deserves it. He has
Yes.
created a platform that's look what's happening right now. You're connected to I and I. I'm from a whole different continent, a whole
Yes,
different
sir.
place. The I is just because I
One.
live here does not mean I'm not from our continent. I'm still from from the continent of Africa. I'm still from that place. And we are connected. Because guess what? The future, because remember why are we in the present now? Doesn't mean in the future, I and I can be there doing the same thing. Because one day, that's why I see I would love to see Liberia all my Liberian men, I would love to see us collaborate with the roots reggae artists to have a reggae sun splash type of vibe in Liberia. And I want to have it in my country. I want to be the person that's responsible to creating and getting that done.
We can make it happen.
Because I know the eyes know the music, and I know the eye music is the music I like. I like positive music, and that's what Ras Kwasi brings. Positivity, that consciousness. That's why I like listening to.
Make it happen.
Yes, I.
And this is why, I chose the eye to kick off our Rastafari African Liberation Month here on the Lion Voice Network.
Yes, I.
This whole month we'll be prioritizing voices from the diaspora. I mean, from the continent. Sorry.
Yes, I. Yes, I. Yes.
Rastafari and Pan African brethren and sisters who are born on the continent.
Yes,
So
I.
keep it locked this month. Pam J has kicked it off for us. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we go to South Africa.
Yes, I.
We have two sisters calling in to talk about domestic violence in Rastafari and in the Pan African community, and why domestic violence is Babylon, because we can't say we burning out suddenly and then you beat down your queen, and what I mean, because all corruption, Rastafari is liberation from all corruption, not some of the corruption then.
Yes, sir.
So I have to cleanse our some of these things are coming from colonialism, from slavery. The slave master used to beat us, devalue our humanity.
Yes,
and some of the mind them take up this kind of liberty.
Yes.
And even some sisters are losing their lives. So we're gonna hear about it. It's gonna be touchy, might be triggering for some. I think this is the first public reasoning on domestic violence in Rastafari in history.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know if any others ones can correct I, but I don't know of any other who have touched this topic in this way. But we're here to make history. We are
Yes,
Lion
I.
Voice.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
Create. Our fire is unquenchable.
Yeah, man.
Enough to talk about the fire. The fire is when you're willing to shine light on the darkness, on these things in the crevices that have crept in and need to be cleansed. So we big up. Also on Tuesday, we have a special episode this coming Tuesday. Make sure that the item tune in. We are welcoming one of our channel regulars, great Jerry Small, Bongo Jerry.
Yes, we love Bongo Jerry reasoning.
On Tuesday to talk about why African Victory Day is important. So Ethiopia is called Patriots Day. We're going to go through the Italian invasion of Ethiopia, geopolitics, why it's connected to what's happening today, which is just an extension. All of these wars are an extension of the fight for global hegemony. People trying to control the earth when the earth is the I ams and the fullness thereof. So Bongo Jerry will join us on Tuesday, and that's also going to be supported by iYard Radio. We are doing a collaboration so that we can get a better picture for Bongo Jerry. We're going to try to implement some call-in vibration so ones can call in as well. So, we're doing collaborations across Rastafari media to see how we can strengthen the vibration. So big up Breadlocks, iYard Radio. Family, make sure that the item tune in again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. South Africa time. We will be reasoning with our powerful sister, Sister Mimi, Mystical Ebony. So stay tuned. Give thanks, Pam J, every day for the eye strength.
Yes, sir.
I support as a Lion Pride on Patreon member. All of our Lion Pride on Patreon, we're at 47 members. We're trying to get to 50. We need 3 of the items to join up on the monthly subscription so we can start our grant program. So consider becoming a member. You get to interact with great people like Pam J every day. We have Wooly brethren and sister. That's one thing I'm proud of. Usually it's just a sister in that support, but we do have powerful brethren in our Patreon. So I have to big up the brethren them who have been supporting. But we need more of the items to come on board so that we can be a force to reckon with. Let the people them have to come here and explain what they're doing. To get the stamp from the Lion Voice Network. We have that power if we come together as one. So we want to see that. Big up everyone. We're gonna continue to go and we won't stop. Why? Because the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice. Eli?
Selassie.
Eli?
Selassie.
Eli?
Selassie. Jah Rastafari. Yes, all right, everyone. That wraps it up. Everything is finished. Give thanks for all those who tune in. For those who didn't, it's okay. You're gonna get to see it later. But thank you. Give thanks. Yes, I. The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat. We are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a border. Picking up Lamb's voice. Now with it, actually for say that. Greetings, this is Shiloh. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, so. Shiloh said that. Are you satisfied? What those is from your eyes? I'm all alone, still you gone. I was standing alive. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, so. What are you waiting for? Come together, come together. Calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Ruddy up, it's sexy dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice. African pride, good morning, dance boy. Shout with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of the tribe, big lion of fighting. Empress from the front line, we need you. This is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Watch them. Rose and barge them. I will never stop here the most high. And I will never stop Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushai representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari. The time has come for lions to tell our story. Yes, I'm listening to Lion's Voice. And I just back you for the islands. Yeah, we need to Rastafari. Can you feel it? Rastafari. Babylon born when Rasta come together. Can you feel it? Rastafari. People, Babylon born when I and I go together. Look how we live together, aya. Look how we work together, aya. Oh,
Yeah, Rastafari. Majesty of the Christmas bless. Yeah, my daily born synchro and Rastafari. I,
Investment and I glance I oh, 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 universally unfold, be told. Blessed Lord, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the lion's voice. Rastafari. Yes, this is Tippy I. The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the lion's voice. Lord, respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Rastafari. Open your eyes, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari licked. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari. Yeah, David Trent of Steel Voice, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out in here. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. I'm Nana Parika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
All righty. It's over, babe. Woo, man, I'm glad I finished it, man. I'm done. I did it. My first official interview since my, my whatever, I guess